It seemed to be like a fantastic deal. So why in the world are they being so quiet about Caitlin?
Basketball. You can't win. So
A Nike insider has just come forward to reveal the stunning reason why Caitlin Clark's signature sneakers have been put on ice by the company. And the truth of the matter will leave you speechless. The basketball prodigy, who is celebrated for her extraordinary skill, is being held in check not by her rivals, but by her very own sponsor.
Now, we know Caitlin Clark is the biggest person Nike has signed, in my opinion, since Michael Jordan, bro.
For the love of the game, something has to give. What on earth is Nike thinking? This bombshell information from an insider has the entire sports world in an uproar. Caitlin Clark is not just another athlete. She is the name. She is the kind of sports person whose impact is felt far beyond the arena.
Announced that Caitlin Clark signed a massive endorsement deal.
As the NCAA's all-time leading scorer and the current face of women's basketball, she represents everything we admire about sports, talent, determination, and that undeniable star power. Nike's declaration of an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal with her felt like a revolutionary moment in the history of women's sports. It's worth remembering that when Clark was selected as the first pick by the Indiana Fever, she received a message welcoming her to the team from a prominent figure who called her the epicenter of the basketball world.
Now, Nike seem like they kind of been slowing down with the Caitlin Clark department, man. They hardly talk about her. They don't tweet about her. Hell, they show more love to Asia Wilson.
It's no surprise, then, that this same figure made a point to support Clark publicly, even before the Fever players had officially met their new team leadership. Yet, despite being one of the most prominent stars in the game, the sneaker that was promised as a key part of her historic contract is nowhere in sight. It raises a question that is simply too obvious to overlook. What is the holdup at Nike?
Nike struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world are they ignoring?
Let's dissect that supposedly historic agreement more closely. An 8-year, $28 million pact sounds like the ultimate acknowledgement of Clark's talent and marketability. However, once you peel back the layers, the reality shifts. A huge portion of the agreement is contingent on performance-based incentives rather than guaranteed money. Her actual earnings for her first year are projected to be around $1.6 million, a figure significantly smaller than the flashy $28 million headline suggests.
Nike is obviously the biggest brand in athletic apparel, and Caitlin seemed to be a perfect fit for the brand. $28 million at the time, while some people, including myself, were saying that this might be a little bit too low because of the superstar that she is.
After her base annual salary drops to approximately $600,000, the rest of the contract's value is dependent on royalties, bonuses, and critically, shoe sales. Then there's the performance reductions clause, which financially penalizes Clark if she fails to meet certain thresholds for game appearances or specific on-court statistics.
But that seems to be such a small, minor detail when you have the gold mine that is Caitlin Clark.
Some insiders suggest this clause is less about rewarding success and more about creating ways for Nike to reduce its actual payout. Was this deal truly about empowering Caitlin Clark and elevating women's sports? Or was it a masterful PR move by Nike, allowing them to look progressive while minimizing their actual financial commitment?
Why Caitlin Clark is not getting the praise, the commercials, the ads, the merch, like all of the things that she should have gotten during this rookie season.
The controversy doesn't stop there. Insiders, including Jordan Rodgers, a former marketing director for the Nike basketball brand, have publicly condemned the company for its complete mismanagement of Clark's superstardom. Despite her unquestionable celebrity and a fan base desperate for Caitlin Clark-branded products, Nike has failed to release any basic branded merchandise, let alone a signature shoe. Instead, she has been provided with player-exclusive sneakers from the Kobe series.
Look like a former Nike employee is spilling the beans about Nike and his Caitlin Clark.
In other words, personalized handoffs that are a far cry from the star treatment she has rightfully earned. This isn't just a missed opportunity for Caitlin, it's an undeniable failure on Nike's part. The company has a long history of leveraging the celebrity of its male athletes. One only has to look at their campaigns for Michael Jordan or LeBron James. So why the hesitation when it comes to Caitlin Clark?
Since she has signed this contract, you guys, and her WNBA season has come and gone. And with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials. We have not seen any ads. We have not seen any Caitlin Clark. Sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark signature.
This is where the situation becomes even more convoluted. While Caitlin's signature shoe is stuck in development hell, other WNBA stars like Angel Reese are already seeing their own signature sneakers hit the market. One can't help but wonder if Nike is purposefully slow-playing Caitlin's launch. Could their decisions be shaped by external pressures or internal company politics?
Reports Nike wants to prioritize A'ja Wilson, and it fears the optics of giving a rookie a signature shoe before an already established star.
In truth, Caitlin Clark's contract may not be the revolutionary, empowering moment it first appeared to be. Instead, it raises serious questions about whether corporations like Nike are genuinely committed to leveling the playing field or are simply creating the illusion of progress in their treatment of female athletes. There is more at stake here than a delayed shoe launch.
Your play on the court doesn't always equate to how many shoes you will.
It's a case study of how even the biggest stars in their sport can be marginalized by a system that still undervalues the power of women's athletics. And as more details emerge, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Nike may have severely underestimated Caitlin Clark and the passionate fans who are relentlessly asking why her sneakers haven't been released.
If a brand thinks they're gonna sell shoes with a player, they're gonna release some stuff. They're not gonna be like, oh, well, so-and-so has been playing in the league a little bit longer, so I'm gonna make sure I get theirs out first, then we'll push Caitlin's 2 seasons.
Favoritism is the unspoken issue here, as it's hard to ignore the glaring disparity between Angel Reese's fast-tracked launch and Caitlin Clark's stalled signature shoe. Without question, Angel Reese is another phenomenal player, and she is already celebrating the release of her own signature sneakers. Meanwhile, Caitlin's fans are left wondering where the Clark sneaker is. Jordan Rogers, the former Nike employee, was blunt in his accusations against the company for its bungling of Caitlin's brand. He alleges that Nike has dropped the ball so spectacularly that it's as if they are actively working against their own interests.
Clark has created more buzz around the basketball landscape and has actually transformed and revived a league that was the WNBA, and she is getting paid a measly $28 million for.
And this is more about priorities than simple delays. Is Clark getting the recognition she is due from Nike, or are they deliberately pumping the brakes on her success so she doesn't overshadow other WNBA players on their roster? This is deeply perplexing.
She had the craziest momentum that we have ever seen with any athlete in the history of.
This is where things really start to heat up. According to some insiders, Nike might be intentionally delaying Clark's debut to more evenly distribute the spotlight among its athletes. Think about it. If Caitlin Clark's shoe becomes the next cultural phenomenon, it could easily dwarf the merchandise of other players, creating an uncomfortable internal dynamic. Are Nike's choices being swayed by outside pressures from other stakeholders or by internal politics? It's all speculation, of course, but you have to admit it's a fascinating and troubling thought.
Off of playing in a national championship game that had over 20 million people tuned into that game, then going straight into the draft, and then going straight into the WNBA and breaking an insane amount of.
Then there's the visual message. When her sneaker is delayed, it doesn't just affect Clark, it sends a signal to the entire sports world and its fans. Nike, a corporation that markets itself as a champion of equality and innovation, seems to be taking its sweet time in providing for one of the most marketable female basketball players in history. Why?
Former Nike employee, gotta say, man, because it is very, very interesting. Because I'm telling you right now, bro, this thing with Nike and Caitlin Clark is not going to end.
The biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball.
Let's discuss the player-exclusive PE sneakers that Caitlin Clark has been sporting. These aren't just any shoes. They are part of the Kobe Bryant family. That sounds incredible, doesn't it? Indeed, Caitlin Clark was given her own custom-branded sneakers from Nike and the Kobe line. But here's the kicker. They are not hers. These are not the signature shoes she was promised. In effect, they are personalized hand-me-downs.
The year. This is so confusing to me. I am so.
That's an example where people can love a player, love everything that they're about, and want to buy.
It's like being given the keys to a brand new luxury car, only to find out it's a rental. Experts in the field agree that this is no way to treat a player of Caitlin Clark's caliber. She is more than a burgeoning star. She is a generational talent with a massive, dedicated following by offering her PEs instead of a full signature line. Nike is sending a message that is, at best, uncertain.
Yes, Caitlin Clark got her own signature PEs with Kobe brand and Nike. Yes, Caitlin Clark got her own signature PEs with Kobe brand and Nike.
Let's not forget the business side of things. Clark's popularity isn't a passing fad. It's a marketing goldmine. She is a player with the power to sell out arenas and, more crucially for Nike, sell out shoe stores. By not capitalizing on her fame, Nike is leaving a fortune on the table and missing out on a massive cultural moment. This is more than just a missed chance for Caitlin. It's a letdown for her fans. They have been waiting impatiently for the opportunity to represent her brand and wear a piece of merchandise that embodies their hero. Instead, they are left with a sense of bewilderment and frustration.
I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift.
This leads us to the bigger picture. Is this hesitation to give Clark her due an isolated incident, or does it signal a more profound issue with how women's sports are perceived? Women's sports are in incredibly high demand right now. However, the corporate machinery designed to promote and celebrate female athletes frequently fails to keep up. Caitlin Clark's predicament is more than just one shoe deal. It's a microcosm of the fight that female athletes continue to wage for the respect they deserve.
I guess that you're doing that with Caitlin, but I'm so confused as to why you wouldn't be doing bigger campaigns.
In the end, Clark supporters don't want explanations. They want results. And it's time for Nike to act like the industry leader it claims to be. Jordan Rodgers, the former Nike insider, decided he had seen enough and was determined to tell the public the truth. Rodgers asserts that Nike has been utterly failing Caitlin Clark, and not just in minor, forgivable ways. This is a complete mishandling of one of the biggest names in women's sports.